Hi, I'm Cat from The Mum Word, and these two are my hungry little monsters. I've got Indy, who's 2.5, and Roar, who is 6 months. So weaning. It can feel like a wee bit of a minefield. Like most things in parenthood, it feels like there's a wrong way and a right way to do things. There usually isn't. I mean, when do you start? Do you do it before 6 months, after, bang on, right on the day? Do you do finger foods or puree foods or both, or baby-led weaning? And to be honest, it can feel a wee bit like food fight! Okay, so it's gonna get messy, but it doesn't need to be all-out warfare. I mean, I learned quite a lot with weaning my daughter, so now that I'm beginning this journey with Roar, I thought it might be fun to share, a bit like a packet of crisps. Some of the stuff I've learned. I like to start with breakfast for a baby's first ever meal, about an hour or so after their first milk feed of the day. The reason I start with breakfast, I know a lot of people recommend lunch or dinner, but I think breakfast is ideal because it tends to be quite quiet in the house, there are fewer distractions, and generally we've had some sleep. Breakfast doesn't need to be breakfasty either. You could try pureed carrots, parsnips, something sweet, maybe sweet potato, or mashed avocado and banana is quite a good one. Make sure you've had your coffee though, because you need to be quite peppy. You're kind of like their cheerleader when you're starting out. You're doing so well, baby. If you're anxious, they're probably going to be anxious too, so try and make it fun, and don't worry about how much they're eating or not eating. But do feed them until they stop feeding, because I think it's quite important for them to learn that feeling of being full. And for this guy, that can be a pouch, some of my homemade stuff, a piece of toast, some breadsticks. Honestly, I don't know where he puts it. Oh yeah, with my daughter I made the mistake of only making homemade stuff. You know, she was my first child, I thought it'd be lovely, but actually it was a wee bit of a nightmare because she wouldn't eat anything else, even when we were out. But it's so much easier to have a pouch for when you're out and about. And these days, the best brands only have good stuff in them, just like you'd make at home. And so this time round, I'm mixing it up. I'm doing pouches, I'm making homemade things, and actually sometimes I'm literally mixing it up. I'm using a pouch with something I've made to make it go further. Personally, I like to do a mixture of finger foods and puree because it keeps their hands busy when you're trying to fit the spoon in. Breadsticks and toast are always a winner. Toast. But not before 6 months. I started out at the beginning only giving more veggies, mainly because I think if they don't know what they're missing, there's no point in giving them fruit if they're quite happy eating veg. He has now discovered his sweet tooth though, so yeah. So sometimes if he's being a wee bit fussy, what I'll do is I will give him a little bit of fruit to start off with, and then generally he's quite happy to eat veg. And lastly, don't worry if you have a blip. This guy pretty much stopped eating entirely last week. I think it was teething. It's always teething, right? But it's meant to be fun, so, you know, take a break and then carry on where you left off. That's the mum word on weaning for BabyCentre. High five!